Hello everyone, welcome to my escape. If you're new here, my name's Katie, and on this channel we talk about books. Today we are going to do a book tag because I haven't done one in a while and they're always fun. I'm gonna do the book tag that @LarryReads, or Larry, made over on her channel. If you don't watch her content, I highly recommend it because she's one of my favorite booktubers out there. But anyways, she put this together last week or the week before, and yeah, we're just gonna go through it and get into it. My hair is simply not hairing, it's just not doing the normal hair things, so we're just gonna ignore that and pretend like it's fine and not whatever is happening right now. So some of this will strike you as very familiar, some of it will be new, and if you see a blanket popping up, no you don't, okay? But I'm cold, so that's that. So the first question is, how many books do I plan to read this year? And my goal is less than last year. So last year was 116, so less than that, and I'll be happy. Question 2 is my most anticipated releases of the year. So one of them that we are just praying gets released this year is Sinners Atone. It was going to come out last year, but the author was having some problems and didn't really like what she had, so then she delayed that, and now it's just kind of indefinitely open. So let's hope it gets released in 2024 because I am dying for that book, but I also appreciate the process and I don't want to rush her, but I will be very happy if it's released in 2024. And for those books that have like a set 2024 release, This Woven Kingdom 3 I'm really excited for, and I'm waiting for that to come out so then I can read the whole series just kind of in one go. Fourth Wing 3 is also supposed to be released at the end of 2024, so I'm excited to get further into that. And then Soul of Salvation is also supposed to be released this year, and I haven't actually finished the first one, but these covers are just so gorgeous. I know I need it on my shelf and I know I'm going to read it, and really that's all we needed for this question. So question 3 is a book on your TBR you won't ever read. Also, I watched Larry's version of this tag, like when she created it. I watched that video like the day it came out and I was like, oh, this was so fun. So I like made little notes as I was going through and watching hers. And now I'm filming this quite a while later, and a lot of those things have changed. But I wanted to get both answers because, you know what, it's like knee-jerk reaction and then now things have changed, so let's go again. A book on your physical TBR you probably won't ever read. My answer when I was going through her video was Six of Crows. I kind of decided at the time, I was just like, you know what? I'm over it. I'm not going to try to force myself to read them. They really hold zero appeal. I'm not into heists to begin with. And I read Shadow and Bone and didn't like that. So I know Six of Crows is better. I know everyone said it's better. I don't care. I just said no. But once I made that mental decision in my head, I put them up for sale and they were gone like a day later. So I don't have those on my physical TBR anymore. So I guess it doesn't count. So the next ones I'm going to go with is this series. So I read Hush Hush yesterday. I think I just crushed the whole thing yesterday. You know what? It wasn't it. So I got the series in a used book haul as kind of like, when the reading is getting too dark, you know, this would be like a nice like YA fluffy read. It wasn't. He's just a creepy stalker that wanted to kill her and then didn't. So yeah, these I think are gonna go off my shelf. Only read the first one. These three, they're gonna leave. I'm sorry. But if you're interested in what the series is, it's a very classic YA series. You'll find this in every library across the country. You've got a fallen angel who wants something that you get revealed, and then you have the most boring, mundane, nothing special about her human girl that attracts attention from all of these immortal beings. And then she's just like scared and there's all these red flags and she's like, oh, but I'll just ignore them all, hee hee. And I'm like, haha, no, they will be going. Goodbye. And then a book you're most likely to reread. So I've already reread 5 books this year, but one kind of that going forward I think I'll reread is This Woven Kingdom. I only read it in December, but like I said, the third one is one of my most anticipated releases of the year, so once that one's out, I think I'm gonna reread the first and just go 1, 2, 3 all the way through the series like back to back and just crush it as a whole. That's really the vibe I'm getting from that series and that's what I want to do. Okay, the next question is a book you wanted to get into in 2023 but didn't, so it's a priority in 2024, and that is definitely The Wise Man's Fear. This is the second in the Kingkiller Chronicles. I read the first last spring. Oh my god, was it that long ago? And I loved it. It was one of my favorite reads of the year. This is the sequel. I wanted to read it in the summer because I had it at home, but then I was like, no, it gives academia vibes, so I'll read it in the fall. And then I forgot to bring it to school in the fall. But I have it now, and I brought it back over winter break, so now this semester, years after I read the first one, I will be reading this, and I am so excited to get into this one. The unfortunate thing, though, is that the last book in the trilogy is not released. It hasn't been released for like 10 years or something, So yeah, I don't have a lot of hope of ever finishing the series, but I am really excited to see what this book holds. In terms of what it's about, the first one follows this guy, and it's like dual timeline, so it's like him when he's old, flashing back, telling a story of him when he's young, and really just tracing through his life on all these like adventures and things leading up to like the big event. But we don't really know what the big event is yet, so we see him go pretty much through his childhood and adolescent years. And then this one picks up from there. And then a series I wanted to read this year, I did just put out a video about my most anticipated reads of 2024, and I think 9 out of the 10 of them or something like that are all series. So yeah, you can go check out that video for those answers. In terms of a full series, because mostly those are finishing series, in terms of a full series that I want to read this year, I want to say Vampire Academy. I've just really been in the mood to reread that series. I reread the first one in January. I'm waiting for the second one to come up on my library, and I could definitely see myself just reading that entire series this year. So sure, let's go with that one, Vampire Academy. The next question is an author you've never read before but want to try this year. That's definitely Juniper Nix for me. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but can we just appreciate this cover, okay? I got this for Christmas, bless my sister, and I am so excited to have it, and it's gorgeous. It's just one of those books where like I'm so excited to get into it, I'm nervous to get into it. I'm nervous, I'm just nervous, but I think if I put it on a list like this, it'll, you know, again, be bumped up again. I don't know what I'm gonna do if I don't like this book, and that's not a fun feeling walking into the story. But I've never read anything by this author. I do talk to her a fair bit over on Instagram, and I'm really excited for this book, but I also don't know what to do if I don't like it, which is giving me a little bit of like, not quite anxiety, but like nervousness getting into it. But I do want to read it, and I especially want to check out the next book. So definitely an author I want to be getting into this year. This itself is a motor club romance. I want to go into this book as blind and with as little like tropes knowledge as I can, but again, I love the cover, literally so pretty, and I will be getting into this author this year. I will be, okay? It's mandatory now, it's on this list. You watched me say this. And then an author you're probably not going to read any more of this year. So again, last week or whatever, when I was doing the video and wrote it all out, my answer was Sarah J. Maas. I'm sorry, okay? I don't mean to step on anyone's toes. I know people love her, you're completely valid, etc., etc. I, however, don't. I find her writing to be a lot like Brandon Sanderson's writing, and they're both good authors, they're just not my style, because I don't want to have to get through 85% of your book for anything interesting to happen. And I find that both those authors, that's all it is. You get 85% of a thick book, and nothing has happened, and you're bored out of your mind, and you don't care, and then that last like 15% is a wild ride. Literally, so much fun, so intriguing, so intense, brings you in, makes you obsessed, and you're like, wow. And then you go into the next book, because you're like, this ended off on such a bang, the next one must start the same, and then it doesn't. It literally doesn't. And then you have to sit through another 85% of a novel before anything fun happens. And some people might love that. I know many people love that because those are two huge named authors. I don't care enough. I don't care enough. By the time 85% comes through, you've already lost me. So again, when I was writing this video, that was pretty much where I was at, Sarah J. Maas, because it just, none of her books were working for me, and I was like 70% through Crescent City, and I was like, wow, like I've tried Throne of Glass, I've tried ACOTAR, and now I was trying Crescent City. But again, I was at the 70% mark, and I said, you know what, it's just not for me, I'm done, I'm bored. Like, SJM, just off the list for me, okay? And then I wrote out this list, and then I continued on with the book, and that last 15% had me bawling my eyes out. Bawling my eyes out. I don't even remember the last time I cried during like a novel I was reading, and I was ugly losing my mind on the couch. Okay, my roommate came home midway through and was like, oh my god, like what happened? Like, are you okay? Everything. And I was just like, I'm fine, but I need you to leave. Okay, ugly tears streaming down my face for like an hour. Phenomenal last 15%. Okay, I'll do a whole Crescent City video probably. But why can't the whole book be like that? Why? I don't even need the whole book, but like not 85% of nothing. But now I'm probably gonna have to read House of Sky and Breath, so I can't say her for this answer to the question, but I stand by that, okay? I stand by that. Brandon Sanderson would be on this, except I want to finish Mistborn this year, just because, like, my friend's really pushing me to do that. So I can't put him on this because I'm going to finish Mistborn this year. And then Sarah J. Maas, I now have to finish Sky of House and Breath. But I just want to throw those names out there, as these authors don't make me happy. They don't make me happy. I don't like it. But an author I'm probably not going to read more of this year, like, actually, is probably Adeline Grace. So in December, I read Belladonna. Again, gorgeous book. I was really excited for this one simply because of the book, and I didn't put really any thought or effort or knowledge into the description or into the author. So the author is Adeline Grace, who also wrote, I noticed, after I read it and put it on my Goodreads, All the Stars and Teeth. I read this in 2022, I think. I hated it. I think I DNF'd at like 75%. Hated it. I've been trying to sell it this whole time and nobody wants it. That should tell you. And then I read this one, not knowing it was the same author, and I hated this one too. Not as much as this one. I did finish this one, I gave it 2 stars, but her writing is just really not for me, and I have a lot of issues with it, and it just frustrates me or bores me, and I don't really care about it, and I really don't like either of the main characters. So yeah, she's an author I really have no interest in ever reading again. Popular book I want to read, one of the ones that's really high on my list is Ruthless Vows. I read Divine Rivals in January, huge on the book platforms. It's like a historical fantasy romance, but I explain it really terribly, so I'm just not going to explain it, and I'm just going to tell you, go read Divine Rivals because it's that good. But as a plug, I also want to throw this one in because I got it yesterday or the day before, but it's Assistant to the Villain. I didn't think I'd own this one, but I picked it up used. It's got the sprayed edges, which I actually truly despise because red and purple, that's just not a good look. So I don't know why that's a thing, but anyways, people are really enjoying this one. It's like a rom-com, and it's exactly what it says. It's the assistant to the villain. So it's like workplace romance, except, you know, the grumpy boss is actually a villain. And I love that. I think it's going to be super fun. I think it's going to give those like dark-ish rom-com vibes, and I think I'm going to laugh and have a blast. And I love that I actually physically own this one. The next question is a non-popular book you want to read. I'm going to go with The Annual Migration of Clouds. I cannot stand my hair. Ha! Sorry. I'm going with this one because I have never heard of it literally from anybody else ever, not in class, not in person, not on book platforms. I have never seen this book before. I got it as part of a book haul because I like the cover, but it's a short novella, like a short story on the climate crisis and just kind of like drilling that home to you. I always look at this and I'm like, I'm so excited to read this, and I never actually pick it up because, again, I'm so excited to read it, I'm nervous it's gonna let me down. But I think it's really pretty. I don't own a lot of novellas, so I like that this is like a physical book. And yeah, I will keep you posted on this one. And then an audiobook you want to listen to. So I really want to listen to House of Roots and Ruin. That's the second one in the series. The first one is House of Salt and Sorrows, and I read that one in October, and it was like the creepiest book I read of the year, and I loved it. Like, that audiobook absolutely pulled me in and kept me trapped. Like, I just sat on my couch clutching my blanket, just staring at the ceiling and listening to this book. And that is really what broke open audiobooks for me. I want to read the sequel in the same manner. So again, that's House of Roots and Ruin, and I'm just waiting for it to come up on my library. I'm really hoping, because I'm next in line, I'm really hoping it comes up this month and I can get into that one. But yeah, I'm so excited. In terms of like a description, I guess I haven't been great about giving all these books descriptions, but House of Roots and Ruin, well, House of Salt and Sorrows is again like a thriller fantasy type thing, but it's based off the 12 Dancing Princesses. A bunch of the sisters have died already though before the book starts, and then the one sister's trying to figure out what is going on, and then you get pulled into this world of like gods and magic and ghosts. Or is she crazy and she's imagining this whole world thing? You don't actually know. That one was super fun, and I even got my friend to read that one. Actually, I gotta tell you this, okay? I tried to hype her up to read this one so much, and she was like, I don't know, because I don't read scary, and she reads a lot of scary. Like, she loves thrillers. She loves fantasy romance, but she loves thrillers. So she's like, I don't know if I can trust you about this really being like scary, or like, do I not really know? And she didn't believe me, and I guess her boyfriend was listening to me at the time, so for Christmas, he got her the 2 books, House of Salt and Sorrows and House of Roots and Ruin. And then she was like, well, now I feel pressured to read it. And then she read it, and then she crushed the second one right after, and now she's dying for me to read it because she wants to talk about it because she's that good. And I'm just like, yes, you should have just taken my word that it was that good. But I like that your boyfriend took my word that it was that good. And so I know once I read that one, I have somebody to talk to about it, like without any spoilers or having any issues with that. So I just need it to come up on my library. I really need it to come up on my library. The next question is a book you want to read based on the cover. I'm gonna be honest, half of my shelf could answer this question. A Fire in the Flesh I want to read because of the cover. The Fortuna Sworn series I really want to read primarily because of the covers. Children of Blood and Bone I really want to read because of the cover. Like, so many of them are really cover driven because I'm shallow like that. But I think the number one on my shelf that I want to read solely because of the cover is Blood of Desiderium. Look at this book. Okay? That just... I love it. I love it so much. I loved it so much it's on KU and I bought it, okay? That's how much I love it. And the chapter pages are dark. It's gorgeous, okay? It's one of the most beautiful covers I know. We all know, okay? Restless Slumber is the most gorgeous cover I own. It's up there, but you guys got tired of seeing that one, or you must have, I assume. So I'm showing you now this one. I am so obsessed with this cover. I have read the first 114 pages, I think. Well, I know because I switched out the bookmark so it wasn't flopping around on you guys during the video. But I was 114 pages in, and then I went home for the summer and I didn't want to travel with this one, so I just left it behind. And then I never hopped back into it when I came back. So this is one I really want to read this year because of the cover, but it is gorgeous, okay? It is gorgeous. And this is the one where the second one is one of my most anticipated releases of the year, even though I haven't finished the first, because the second one also has a gorgeous cover and I want it on my shelf beside this one. Yeah, I just love them. I think she does like the best covers out there. In terms of what it's about, beyond looking gorgeous, I don't really know. It's a dark fantasy. I don't think it's a fantasy romance. I think there's romance in it, but I think it's a dark fantasy, mostly about like this trapped princess with power, but she's like manacled somehow, and her powers are trapped within, and then she goes and realizes that her kingdom's like dying of this plague, and she somehow has to figure out how to help them. I don't really know. I don't think I really knew what it was when I bought it either, but I love having this on my shelf. So the next question is a book to TV adaptation you're excited for. I'm gonna be honest, I have a very like fixated personality. So a couple years ago, I really loved TV and movies, and I got really into like how you set up shots and lighting and music and like all of these other things, and like all of this encompassing to make a good scene and really what makes a good scene. And I got all into that, and I love TV and I love movies and everything. And then I got back into reading in 2022, and I pretty much just stopped watching all TV, just entirely. Because apparently I can't have two interests in the same time. It's really one or the other. So I can't say I'm really in tune or that I have any real desire to watch anything recently, even if it's based off of a book that I like. One thing that I could see myself getting into is Lessons in Chemistry. So I read the book last year. The TV adaptation came out last year, so technically not a 2024, but it came out in like December, so whatever. I'm just gonna push it till 2024. I'll be back. I can't do my hair like this right now. Give me 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. We're gonna fix this. Lessons in Chemistry. So this was an incredible book, literally an incredible book. You follow this woman through like the 1960s, I think, and she's a chemist, except she's not treated as a chemist because she's not a man. So this is really just a book on sexism and women's experience kind of through that time, where you technically were allowed to be a chemist, but nobody really respected you as such. So you follow this woman throughout her journey. This is another dual timeline. So you open and this woman has a cooking show and a 5-year-old daughter. And then you flash back to kind of the beginning of the story, which is in her postdoc, and she's a chemist. So you're like, how did you end up kind of on a cooking show on TV? This was really interestingly written. I don't know if interestingly is a word. I think so. It was very interesting to read, and how she wrote it was, I felt very original and very entertaining. I cannot say enough good stuff about this book. I loved it. It was definitely a 5-star read, and you just kind of hate everything going on and you hate everything around her, but you love her and you love some of the other characters, and you really want the best for her. You're struggling with her struggling, and yeah, yeah, it just hits you. It hits you hard. I would highly recommend, and that's why I could see myself picking up this TV show specifically. If I have to pay for it, I probably won't, because all my money goes into books in school. But yeah, that is one TV show that I'm really excited exists and probably will pick up eventually. So something bookish you want to start doing this year. I'm gonna be honest, I already do a lot of bookish things. One is reading. B is shopping for used books. C is selling my used books. D is making content on YouTube, making content on Instagram, talking to people on both platforms. I have some friends that like literally all we do is talk about books together. So I already have a lot of bookish things going on in my life. One thing though that I started in 2023 and really want to actually do in 2024 is what I call my master Excel sheet. It tracks every book I've ever read, and then it breaks it down into things that I think are relevant and that will make it easy for me to do like Control F and search. Because when someone approaches me and they're just like, oh, like I really loved this book, can you give me a recommendation? My mind blanks and I hate it because I love giving recommendations, but unless I read it within the last like month, my mind is just gonna draw a complete blank. So I like having this Excel sheet because I can go like, okay, hold up, let me see, and I can like Control F through the vibes because I track everything by vibes. That's like a super overly controlled kind of thing, but that's my life. Goodreads just isn't enough for me. I like Goodreads for what it is, but in terms of what I want to use this Excel sheet for, I need something outside of Goodreads. So yeah, I set that up in 2024 and I imported all my Goodreads history, but I haven't gone through and actually filled out everything. And I didn't keep up with the things that I was reading in 2023, so it was definitely left by the wayside. 2024, I not only want to keep up with all the books I'm reading and input all the information, which I have done so far, but I want to be able to go back and start filling in those past reads as well. Okay, something bookish you want to stop doing this year. I like all my book stuff. I don't really want to stop anything in particular. I mean, I say this to myself every year and yet I never do it, but if I could stop pushing myself through books I'm hating, that would be great. I just have it in my mind, especially if I get over the 50% mark. I'm like, you literally have already read most of it. Just finish it. Just finish it. And I don't know why, because I don't really care if I knock it on like my Goodreads read list. I don't really care about any of that. I think the only book that I felt like DNFing that was worth it to finish was probably Crescent City. And every other book that I'm like, wow, I really wish I DNF'd this, and I continue through, it's never worth it. So I think that would be my number one thing I would like to do, is actually start DNFing books at whatever point that they get bad. If it's 80, if it's 90, I don't care. As soon as I don't like it and I'm not getting anything like I enjoy from it, I think I should put it down. But I doubt that will be happening. And then specifically a 2024 booktube goal. Again, I don't really have a lot of goals this year for multiple reasons, and I will link the video that explains all that up there if you want to know kind of what's going on with my life and what's going on with the channel moving forward. You can go check that all out in this video. But a booktube goal that I do have for the fall is editing. I would really like to not only get better at editing in terms of like making it a faster, more streamlined process, but I would like to make my videos more interesting and more engaging in terms of like changing shots, zoom in, zoom out, framing, stuff like that. So then a 2024 non-bookish goal, I need everyone to manifest this with me, because although I don't have a lot of book goals, I do have one life goal that needs to happen, and that is called graduating my master's. So everyone, please pray, meditate, put it out to the universe. Whatever you do, please help me graduate my program and actually make all of this worth it. So yeah, please. That's my 2024 main goal, period. Bookish, not bookish. Number one 2024 goal is graduate. And then describe how you want 2024 to go in one word. This was kind of difficult to do, but I settled on experiential. I am really focused on experience this year. So experience, again, that's not really like book side of things, but experience is I'm trying to make the most of my master's I'm really just trying to romanticize school at this point, and I'm trying to get the most and say, every day presents an experience. Fully take advantage of this opportunity and experience all you can with the remaining time you have left at school, whether that's going to extra lectures, whether that's really just getting through the day. It really varies, but that's how we're approaching things. And then moving forward, I want to have like new work experiences. I want to gain work experience to put on my resume, you know, and then gaining like cultural exposure experience, and yeah, just experience overall, not necessarily like experiences, but experience kind of as a character builder, as a career builder, as, you know, just development as a person. Maybe development would be a better word, but I'm really focused on seizing all of the experiences put forward this year, if that makes sense. And then booktube creators who inspire you. Honestly, there's so many, but really I guess the ones off the top of my head that I either have like notifications turned on for their videos, or if I have some time, I go and look for their videos, and in no order, but Larry reads. So again, Larry made this book tag. So definitely love her content. I love Steph Wars? I never know how to say her name. I love her content. Jess from Honest Fiction. I love watching her stuff. She's primarily fantasy romance. And then some smaller ones, Happily Ever April, I love her stuff. And then Books with Samantha, I also love her stuff as well. And then the last question is something you want to say to anyone wanting to start a book account. It's far more work than you expect. Far more time, far more effort, far more work, but at the same time, it's way more fun than you would expect. I knew it was gonna be work and I knew it was gonna be fun, but I didn't realize how much of either. And then I started, and it's so much fun. Literally so much fun. Oftentimes it's the most fun I have all week, whether it be planning a video or whether it be actually filming and making the video, or whether it be interacting with people because of the videos. It never gets boring. It's a huge time commitment, I won't lie, and it's a lot of input and skills that you have to pick up, which I haven't, but help me manifest the editing. But it is absolutely worth it, and it's so much fun. And I just kind of love being like this tiny little creator because I can do whatever I want and there's no real pressure. And you put the videos out and you're just like, here, okay, have fun. Come talk to me about these books. So I say if you even have a slight inkling of like wanting to do it, do it. Just do it. Just give it a go. Give it a try. You don't need anything to start, like literally just your phone. You can do everything off of it. If you hate it, you can always stop. But just try it. And that is the end of the book tag. If there's ever other book tags you guys want me to do or you guys think are cool, please link them down in the comments below. I love them. I think they're so much fun. And yeah, sometimes I miss them because, you know, if I have a really busy school week, I might miss that video or miss that trend. So don't ever be afraid to kind of just put it in my comments, be like, hey, I think you should check this one out. But also let me know if you yourself are a booktuber and if I should check out your content. Again, drop that in the comments down below. I love finding new creators and finding new content to do. I don't have a lot of time to search people out, unfortunately. I would love to be more into the community than I am. So if you're a tiny little account like me, just put it down in the comments below. I'll be clicking your name and I would love to come check out some of your stuff. I would love to expand my network more. And yeah, again, I love being on here. So if you're thinking about doing it, do it. If you're on here already as a book content creator, let me know down in the comments. But I just think I love this platform and everyone should be a part of it. That's all I've got for you guys today. Thanks for sticking around. I post every Saturday. Throughout the week, I'll be posting some shorts as well. So ring that bell for notifications and you won't miss anything. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.